Okay, welcome to round two. Here we are. We're on the play, or we're on the die roll at least. I'll be on the play. This is pretty decent, so we're going to keep. I think I'm going to lead with land cycle, and then hopefully we can play the Chancery and Preordain on turn two. I don't recognize this user, so we'll see how it goes. Go land. Can do the, okay, so this looks like Blue-Red Fae, which means that this Chancery is very good for me. The rest of the cards are kind of mediocre. Faithful would have been good if I had been able to get that down early, so we'll see if we can get it out. Just really do not want to jam a Faithful into a Spellstutter Sprite. Definitely don't want more lands at this point. And we'll just see how it goes. They don't have a turn 2 Ninja, which is extremely encouraging for me. Excuse me. Okay, so there's Fairy Seer. They didn't play a land yet. Went bottom. Okay. Interesting. So I think if I were them, I probably would have fetched and then played Fairy Seer, because now their bottoming doesn't matter. But it's what it is. I don't really want to play out the Sunscape Familiar right now because it's going to get bolted, and I want to get a 2-for-1 out of the Seagate Oracle as soon as possible. It'd be interesting if we could find another Plains. But I'm looking for a Deep Analysis probably, or Behold the Multiverse. Island is okay, I guess. Don't really have any options. 2-for-1 is still good. Now, we could potentially slam Archaeomancer looking for Preordain. Okay, so they've got nothing going on. They're Reveal Frantic, so they're copying CCO Gire's build, I think. This makes me want to get out my Sunscape Familiar and then get value off of one flicker, have it get bolted, and then Preordain. So, Familiar. Alternatively, we could wait for it to get bolted. Yeah, let's just wait, I guess. Leave a protection with the flicker. Yeah, that's probably better. So this gives us a 2-for-1 here. Muldrifter is always really good in these matchups. They have to either spend a counterspell, or I get to land it and get a 3-for-1. So we're going to be looking to, if they tap out, we're going to go for a Muldrifter Ephemerate. They did not tap out. Okay, so they played Fairy Seer. This means that I can play Faithful plus Mancer if I want. Okay, they're clearing the way. That Seagate Oracle means that I'm going to play Faithful, Seagate Oracle, and then Preordain. This leaves me a lot of ninja blockers. Right now they're either clearing the way for a Monarch card. Okay, Prohibit's very good. Prohibit can counter the Spellstutter Sprite that I'm expecting. Echoing Truth is not good. Deep Analysis is pretty good here, so hopefully they don't have a ninja. They still kind of really low on lands, and they can't cast our Monarch card yet. Sunscape, or Godpharaoh's Faithful keeps us out of burn range. Here comes the ninja. If I draw a land, I can go Drifter Ephemerate and then prohibit their card. Or they could potentially tap out. They do not tap out yet. I would expect them to hold up Sprite. Okay, they're just going to braid that. That's fine. I think because I drew a land, I can just fetch. I think they probably want to try to clear the way for the ninja, so I'll play the Muldrifter and plan on blocking with it. They'd have to have 2 removal spells and a hand of 3 cards in order to deal with me. And then next turn I could Drifter Ephemerate and then have a counterspell backup. They have a Fairy Seer, so there's 2 cards in hand. I go for... How do they scry? Bottom. plays their first Frantic that they had revealed previously. We will happily trade. This means that they can't bolt this to kill it. Okie dokie. They have second ninja, but their one is off the table. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 mana. So what do I want to do? I think I'm going to Drifter Ephemerate here. Just gives me a lot of power. And if I draw into a Seagate Oracle, I'll have quite a few blockers for the ninja. Could also snap it potentially. Did not draw anything that was super useful, so I'm going to play the Chancery. Gives me 2 white for next turn. And I'm not going to bin the Deep Analysis, I'll just get rid of the lands. And here I'm going to try to block with the Faithful on the ninja and then block Muldrifter on whatever else. Excuse me. They're pondering, so I have 2 cards in hand. One of them is a Fairy Seer. Maybe I should have just blocked the Fairy Seer that turn. I don't know. I think I just wanted the ninja off the table. Chooses to not shuffle. So let's try to eat that and block. They have an Abrade? No, they have a ninja. Okay, so they drew a lot of ninjas. But at least I can counter whatever they have else in their hand, and I can play Faithful pretty freely. And I think I'll still be able to land my... Okay, so counter that. I get to Ephemerate the Muldrifter. Pretty far up on cards. Oh, no. Okay, so what's going to happen here? They have a mountain. They could bolt this, but they don't. So I'll go Familiar. No. Yeah, Familiar. Faithful. I think I'll just get a Plains and then play another Muldrifter for another 3 for 1. So I have quite a few blockers, and I have 2 Muldrifters on the table. I'm ahead by 12 cards, and next turn I can basically go infinite. I think I have them pretty on the ropes here. It's a Brainstorm, which is pretty good. That's going to allow them to really sculpt their hand. What are they going to do? Cycle? Okay. So they got to pick the best 2 cards. Brainstorm again. Oh. They're definitely digging. They played the island out, so they're going to end up with 2 cards again without a Brainstorm, so they could potentially play like an Augur. They play Frantic, draw a bunch of cards. Play Fairy Seer. 1 card in hand. We're going to act like it's Skred. So there's a Sunscape in the yard, which makes me want to just attack. And then basically I don't want to make my land drop just yet in case I draw Mire. Okay, Answer, get back Ephemerate. Alright, Ephemerate the Arcane Answer to get back Prohibit. Okay, they decided to scoop. Let's see what we would have drawn. Nice. So I want to cut these 2 cards. Echoing Truth, Sage Road Denizen. I want to bring in the Last Breaths. Take out this counterspell, bring in 3 negates. And that should be good. We've got 5 ways to deal with Ninja, 5 counterspells, a couple blockers, some action cards. Let's make it happen. Okay, here we are. Still going. um, this is pretty good. I can fetch for planes and then turn 2 foretell, and then turn 3 I can actually like familiar plus multiverse, um, or just like kind of just take it easy. I'm already going to fetch for it, and I know that they know what I'm on, so it doesn't really matter doing it now. I don't have any 1 mana spell that matters. I mean, it gives them an inkling that I would be playing out the familiar, so they want to get the mountain in case they have a bolt. But little do they know, I also can just behold. This is pretty good because I can play the Chancery and not lose anything to hand size. Play Augur of Bolus with a counterspell. So, question is, how deep should I go? If I play Familiar, I can foretell. I think it's probably good. Or cast my Behold. Go back up to 7 cards. They have to use something to kill it, and then gives me opportunity to draw something like Prohibit. That seems good. So they would have to have Bolt, which they do. And are they going to Ninja? Because they have Counterspell in hand. They do Ninja. So a good draw here would be a Last Breath. Otherwise, we're going to have to play out the Seagate Oracle and hope that's good enough. Probably not going to be good enough. We have another Seagate Oracle as backup, so that's okay. Pick up the land and then just get rid of a Barrens. Barrens is not going to be doing very much anymore. Expectation is Bolt, hold up Counterspell. Okay. Luckily here we have 2 prohibits, so I can play Seagate Oracle and counter the counter. Just really need to run them out of counterspells. Seagate Oracle comes out. I'm going to have a blocker, so you have to counter it, and then I will counter your counter. I would be really surprised if they didn't. Okay. Let's get another blocker, please. Snap. Snap is okay. It's at least going to get the ninja off the table for a bit, and I can get my Mold Drifter down. We also have to expect that they have Pyros in hand, so if they're using removal on my Seagates, they have to tap out for their red for Pyros, and they draw nothing with the Augur Bolus, which is really awesome. So they Bolt, or they Pyro, okay, as a removal spell. We're going to Chancery, just get this off the table, so they have to spend mana making it back. They could have Dispel here, which I could just prohibit. I think I'm going to play tap this way in case I draw a familiar. Or I could potentially draw a Faithful. That doesn't matter. I think that they're looking for another Pyro probably, and I'm just going to hold the prohibit up for that if I can. Or I will play a blocker if I can. So just trying to get as much value as possible. We have negate, so pass. Plains isn't doing that much, but what are you going to do? So they're pretty even with me on cards, even though there's that ninja, man. Oof. Okay, so I'm going to go for Augur Bolus. I'm not going to counter. I think I need... Maybe it was a good idea to counter it. Oh, geez. Now they have a Lightning Mold. Okay, Familiar is great. So play Familiar. And then I can Deep Analysis and hold a Prohibit and Negate. And block both of their creatures. If they counter it, I'm not going to fight over it. Okay, I feel pretty good at this moment. It's very important in this matchup to not let them manage to overwhelm you with ninjas. Yeah, a cantrip doesn't matter right now. Right now it's just setup time. Like, give me enough time to live through this. I'm gonna pull ahead. Let's see. We'll go ahead and negate. Accidentally have two different arts, so that's interesting. They go counterspell, I go negate again. If they respond, they can't ninja. So they can, I would probably kill the familiar if they have something. Okay, so they just frantic for two. I think a good play on my turn might be to play Archaeomancer, getting back Behold, and then Deep Analysis, and then Behold. We'll see. They don't have Bolt in hand, or they would have killed the familiar. I guess we'll draw two first. That's great. So Faithful. Archaeomancer, get back Behold. I think at the moment I would rather Preordain than hold up Behold mana, because I can hold up my Prohibit, and I can Prohibit again here, which is good, and it kind of gains some life. And now that I have three blockers, okay, perfect. So this is a lot going on for me. I have three blockers for the Augur, so I'm just going to get in for some damage. I do have to win eventually. Okay, they cycle, so we know one of the cards in their hand now is an island. They're up to 7 cards, and we're only 2 cards ahead. Play their island out. Augur. That gives them another. Oh, we know they have a ninja too, so puts Red Blast in hand. Just block like that, I guess. I don't really know why they didn't try to go for it. So what could they have? Electrickery or something? They're just testing me by attacking. I mean, might as well. I could misclick through it. Fiery Cannonade, so certainly not great. At least the okay, so that's pretty good for them. Okay, so what am I gonna do? I could not Prohibit then anymore. They go bottom bottom. I know they have an ninja in hand. They go top top top. Sad. So Drifter Evoke. At least this is a good way to rebuild. Ephemerate this. Okay. So the Mortuary Mire can rebuy the Familiar, and then I could potentially snap and replay this or something to get the Familiar back. Or I can hold up a bunch of interaction. I think I want the Familiar anyway at some point. So the plan is going to be to Last Breath and then Prohibit on whatever their ninja is. Get rid of that. So nice islands. Change the art today. So they went top top, then a preordaining. Let's see if they bottom. Excuse me. Top bottom. Okay. And I know they have a Red Blast in hand, right? Yeah. So let's block here, block here. That'll kill a Fairy Seer. They go for the ninja with the other Fairy Seer, so now I can just... Oh, interesting. Zap that guy. So this taps them out, at least, which is good. So I prohibit the Dispel. They have to Red Blast the Prohibit in order to get their ninjas to live. And if they don't Red Blast it, then I get to kill the ninja. They could potentially... Okay, so they did go for the Red Blast on Team Drifter to keep me off of 2 cards. Not terrible. So at least I get to keep my Ephemerate. Cast that there. Play my Familiar. Archaeomancer. Get back Ephemerate. Ephemerate. Get back Prohibit. Foretell. Say go. I'm really surprised that there's a Cannonade, but I guess it's fine. I mean, it does kill this, and maybe that is a problem playing Archaeomancer in this meta. Plays a Fairy Seer. It's not... I mean, he already has a Fairy Seer, so it's not that big of a deal for me. I would really like him to go down to 0 or 1 cards in hand, so I can start just slamming this. Let's try to counter that. They did put a card on top, so they wanted it. Interesting. I'll just blast the Behold the Multiverse here while they're hellbound. It looks like they're going to be drawing into... I want both of these, sorry. It looks like they'll be drawing into a counterspell to counter the Prohibit. Counterspell the Prohibit. Whatever they set up for the Augur is gone now, so maybe they'll whiff. They found another Cannonade. Interesting. It kills all their stuff, though. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, whatever. It just doesn't seem right to me. Okay. Whatever. Ephemerate this. Get back Ephemerate. Play out Seagate Oracle. I do think I want the Archaeomancer. I can just Archaeomancer back the negate. I'm going to snap and replay the Seagate Oracle. See if I can draw into a Mole Drifter. Or a Flicker. That lets me play Last Breath and Ephemerate as well. Okay, didn't draw anything, but that's fine, I guess. So they have Cannonade and 3 Unknowns. Getting in with the Fairy Seers. Luckily, this Faithful is keeping those Fairy Seers from mattering. And I think I'm just going to ephemerate the Seagate Oracle. I guess we'll just take another negate. All right. Ephemerate the Archaeomancer. So I could potentially blast a snap on the Seagate Oracle, but I'm trying to save it in case they do somehow manage to land the Cannonade and I can bounce an Archaeomancer back. Two damage, not that big of a deal. Okay. Ninja, and I will go ahead and eat the Ninja. Bops me. Or they bop me. They play a Fairy Seer. Here I'm going to ephemerate the Archaeomancer to get back Behold. And cast it. Don't want that. This should be okay. Okay. They land the Fairy Seer. They still have Cannonade in hand and two unknowns. They go bottom, bottom. I imagine they're looking for sprites. Which is, it's surprising they haven't, maybe they took them all out. I just don't understand how they don't have any in hand yet. We've gone through a lot of turns. At some point, I think they are going to have to play out. Okay, so have to play out their Cannonade. Preordain. I'm still pretty much looking for that flicker that I see right here, and I'll take it. So let's go top, top, play Faithful, evoke this. I'm going to flicker here, and that means they probably want to play out a Spell Center Sprite. They just go for Cannonade, fine. Pop. Cannonade negate. Counterspell negate. So now we can get back all of our Mole Drifters. I think I'll just ephemerate this to get back Prohibit. And then flicker here to get back Negate. That should keep me from dying to anything random. I'll just get rid of the Preordain at this point. The funny thing is, the Cannonade, I know that it would wreck their board, but it also would wreck mine, so since I was so far ahead, I kind of had to counter it anyway. Okay, so now on my turn, on my upkeep, I go ahead and cast this to get back Ephemerate. And then flicker here to pick up the Familiar. So this lets me natural draw the Familiar. And then I can snap them out and just hold up prohibits. Turn off the stop, like this. Play familiar. And then I'm gonna put back two mole drifters probably. One, two, yeah. Two mole drifters. Then the first thing I'm gonna do is attack. Okay. Snap that one. Just if I'm right here to get back snap. That guy dies. And then I just flicker these two. And they don't have anything else they can do. So I can just get rid of all their flyers and attack with my 3 mole drifters for a few turns, and then that's the game. So we end up winning, and I will see you in round 3.